Change the screen before you go live.
Too late. He already went.
Hold on, just chill.
All right. Get the feed shared.
We're live. Yeah, we are live. I got to unmute a few people. Just hold on a minute, guys.
I didn't know if you knew.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew.
All
right.
Yeah, a lot of Chiefs. A lot of Chiefs. We need more Indians. So just chill out. Chill out. Welcome, everybody, to 440 and Goal Live. What is this, episode 5, season 1 still? Rolling through. A lot of new stuff to talk about. Pretty excited. We do have the special guest, John McCoy, again. We'll be having him on here in a little bit. We're going to go through a few things. Again, my name is Ryan Cole. In the middle right now, we got Sam Torres.
How's it going, folks?
And on the far end, we got Thomas Roth.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Thank everyone for joining right now. Awesome news. We got 13 people watching live, so I want to thank everyone who's here. Just to kind of recap what the whole goal of this show is. I try to do this every single time, but our real main goal is to talk about Ashtabula County, what's going on. We are the only, that we know of at least, only live internet stream about sports talk radio. And so we have a lot of fun with everything. Let me do one thing here. Sorry. But yes, so in the future, our goal is to get everything where we're going to sporting events in Ashtabula. We're going to different events like the Jeep runs that they do. There's a few different things we want to get into, but that is our goal in the end. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the topic we always start with, some coronavirus numbers. Give me 1 second to pop that up. So as of today, latest update showed us here at give me a second. It's lagging out. I apologize. I think it's 64 and 4. So, yeah, 64 cases, 4 deaths. And that is a pretty drastic increase compared to what we had before. I think we were at 47, if I recall right, 47 cases and just 3 deaths. So, God bless the family who's dealing with that situation there. Like I talked about before on the show, one of the reasons why I started this show was my grandmother actually was the first one in Ashtabula County to pass. And it just made me think about, how else can we, make everyone aware in Ashtabula what's going on. So, Sammy, take it over to you. Anything on your end that you might want to share about the virus?
No, you know what? Just the, they've been calling for this jump in numbers. So I don't know if it's anything to be too overly concerned for. As I said on our last show, my concern is with the lack of face masks and regular PPE when people are going into public that I'm seeing. If there is a jump in the numbers, I think that's what it is. I know there's a lot of talk of opening up May 1st, and you've got states like Florida opening up beaches, Texas talking about opening up the entire state. I think people are being lured into a little bit of a false sense of security, but we'll see. I just keep doing what you're doing. If you're being safe, that's all you can do. It's you can't worry about everybody else.
What happened? Did we lose Thom, Sammy?
I don't see him on the screen.
Thom, are you there? Somewhere along the lines, we did lose him. Well, he will pop back in, so we're...
Yeah, I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah, it's me and you right now. All right, so going into it, different things. So COVID-19, we all seen the numbers. It's not perfect, but we're going to go, it's not, a lot of good things happen in Ashtabula with it and kind of move on. So I think we should get right into our punt and grunt section. And then hopefully Thom will be back in.
Yeah, where we can at least get his idea on it.
Yep. Let's see.
There it is.
Yeah, a little punt grunt action. I'm still waiting for Thom.
So for those of you that don't know what punt or grunt is a segment that we're doing on this show where we're going to cover a couple different topics. You are either going to punt, which means you're kicking that topic away, you want nothing to do with it, or you're going to grunt, which means you're going to take the ball and run with it because you agree with it. We cover everything from Browns uniforms to trades that are coming up. It's each person who's going to be on the show is going to give their take on it, and we're also going to take any of the input that you have.
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me now, by the way?
Clear as a bell, baby.
Excellent. Thank God.
All right,
cool.
So go. Yep. So I'm gonna go kind of right into a few things that I found. I think this is the first one. Giants are open to trading the number 4 pick. So what you guys think about them trading? It's going to be trading down. I'm sorry, not trading down. We're potentially trading back in the draft. Your guys' thoughts on that?
Depending on what they're offering, or depending on what they want. If it's other picks, if it's picks for next year or even picks this year, if I'm the Browns, I'm grunting here, because you could potentially go up and get Simmons, who I have made very well known that I believe is going to be the best player in this draft, including Chase Young. So I think if they have if depending on what the asking price is, I think we grunt, we move up. We already have a working relationship with them because we took Vernon's overpaid contract and getting OBJ. So it's something to really think about. Only because you could get Simmons and potentially get another lineman later on in the draft.
I apologize. I did mean to say whether or not the Browns would trade up to come out to the number 4 pick. So I do apologize to the viewers out there. That's where I was going with that. So go ahead, Thom.
So I'm going to do a big grunt on it. I would really like to see the Browns trade up with the Giants at number 4, like Sammy alluded to. We do have a working relationship with Dave Gettleman, the general manager of the team for the New York Giants. If we could trade up and get a player like Isaiah Simmons, as Sammy said, who could be a generational prospect at the linebacker hybrid safety position, that'd be great. I'm going to throw another name out there that doesn't really get mentioned with the Browns too much. Jeff Okudah from Ohio State. I really think now Greedy, in my opinion, Greedy Williams was our first pick last year. He wasn't our first round pick, but Greedy was brought in with the hope of being able to kind of supplant Denzel Ward. How perfect would it be to trade up, get Okudah, who could be another shutdown corner to pair with Denzel Ward, who knows how to tackle? Okay, I mean Okudah is a force on that field, and as we saw at Ohio State, he's a ball hawk. That dude came up with some crazy interceptions last year. And right now in the AFC North, you have Burrow, because Burrow's going to be there. He likes to air it out. Ben's going to be back. Ben, make no mistake, I have said it a million times, I don't like the Steelers, but respect to Roethlisberger, because that man made his millions being able to wing that ball down the field. Okay?
He's AFC North quarterback by definition.
And Lamar Jackson surprised me last year and became a very competent passer. If you can lock down those the outside routes from those receivers and have Greedy as your nickel corner, have Kevin Johnson kind of in there, the guy that we picked up in free agency, and a couple other guys, I really think that developing a defensive backfield is going to be imperative for the Browns, especially with the deficiencies we have at linebacker. So if we can trade up and get Okudah or Simmons, I'm a big proponent to grunt on this one.
Okay. So typically I would say punt, just stay where you're at. We're in the building mode. We're not in the rebuilding. But my opinion is, what were you saying yesterday? You thought, Thom, you put a couple of different, what's the word I want to use? Scenarios in there, meaning, Giants has the number 4 pick. If for some reason Chase Young sitting there,
if Chase Young's sitting at 4,
have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You give up the farm. You do a Ricky Williams type thing.
Right. Chase Young is sitting there for some reason is when I would grunt. But currently at the moment in time, unless that scenario is there, I'm punting hard. Just stay where you're at.
Yeah.
And kind of move into it at that point. So
for sure.
All right. So
I actually, before we go off of that, I want to say I actually agree with Tom's thought on Okudah. If it's talking about getting rid of Greedy Williams, I haven't been very pleased with him. I understand he only had 1 year. Okuda, I feel like, is going to work better with Ward. Maybe it's the Ohio State connection, but I just feel like it's a better fit. Or even if you can keep Greedy Williams, great. But in this division, your defensive backfield has to be legit because Big Ben's coming back. He's going to be slinging that thing all over the yard. Burrows has a lot to prove. And Lamar Jackson, if you can force him to run the whole game, because he has become an average passer. So if you take that off of there, then you stand a shot. The Browns are not in the position right now to be conservative. You have to go all in. We've only got a little bit of time.
Right.
That's correct. A little bit of time. This is a small window right now.
So next one on our punt and grunt segment is an interesting one. They reported that Becton failed his drug test.
Yeah.
Obviously he was left tackle if I recall right, but he's big on the Browns' radar.
He's a lineman. He's a lineman. He doesn't have a position right now. He's just a lineman. Right.
I know he was big on the Browns' radar. So what is your guys' opinion on whether the Browns should stick with him possibly, or are we punting and moving on?
Go ahead, Sam.
I'm going to punt. That's all there is to it. So this guy was a possibility guy anyway. You really had to talk yourself into him. Mm-hmm. I'm not as concerned with the drug test until I know what he hit for. I know with this new CBA, marijuana has basically been thrown out the window, which is great. So it's not going to affect him. But if we're talking about PEDs, the last thing we need on this team is another person who's going to be inside of the protocol. Sure. We have no time for this. That's not where we're at. So he was a fringe player to begin with. He's already messed up. You got to punt that guy away. Let somebody like Cincinnati or Kansas City take him.
Go ahead, Tom.
All right, yeah. It's going to be a big punt for me. I was a big proponent for Mekhi Becton, if you guys remember in previous shows, because the potential. But that potential seems wasted to me now with this failed test, especially because if you're drafting a guy on potential, the implication with drafting a guy on potential is that he's going to do things the right way, and he's going to
try harder.
He's going to try harder. He's going to try to fulfill that promise. And if he hasn't even played an NFL down yet, and he's failing a drug test, I'm not totally enamored with him anymore. I harken back to Laramie Tunsil from the Miami Dolphins. Now, Tunsil was a left tackle. That's the thing. That Tunsil was slotted in as he's a left tackle. He's a franchise-changing left tackle. He had that video where he was, I think it was like a gas mask and a pipe
he had
or
gas
something
mask,
like that.
like bong hooked up to it.
Now that's funny because you're in college and it doesn't matter. But you're not in the fact of the matter is when you become a pro prospect and you're not in class anymore and you're training for the draft, you are auditioning for a job. You are under a microscope, proverbially and literally. Anything that you do is going to be not only unveiled, but analyzed in such a way that the smallest misstep is going to set you back. Injury isn't as big a deal as it used to be. Like we see that with Tua right now. Tua is still being talked about as the top 5 pick, even though he had that horrendous injury. But when you are, dude, you're not even in the NFL yet, and you're messing up things that guys have worked for their whole life, and they get reprimanded for while they're in the league. You're getting off easy right now, but I don't want anything to do with this. This is Josh Gordon all over again, and I don't want another Josh Gordon scenario where this guy is good, he's great, but he can't stay clean. And
it's the equivalent of showing up to a job interview late.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you said already. You're already behind the 8 ball. Tunsil is an interesting concept because of that, because he's solid. Like he did end up overcoming that. But I will say this, and this isn't anti-Browns. This is just, I know them. I know what this team is. You cannot come here with problems because they're only going to get worse. We really have to take guys who are clean. Kareem Hunt was here for all of 10 days before he got pulled over and in trouble again. So we're not, this is not somewhere where there's a culture yet. we're still trying to get that stuff in order. So we really can't take the shots on these guys right now. We got to go clean with maybe a little bit of less talent.
I agree. 100%.
100% agree. So 2 punts, and I'm going to be the third punt on this one as well. I mean, with everything we went through with Gordon, giving him that, I mean, I couldn't tell you how many chances we gave him.
6 chances.
Was it 6? Yeah.
6
I mean,
chances.
last thing we need is to run into.
Oh man, that would be huge.
What'd you find out? Some breaking news.
Elijah Juan, we'll talk to you after the show because we would love to have you on the show.
Yeah, Elijah Juan, stick around after the show, man.
Yep. So, but yeah, hard punt. And last one here for me, and this one's a little off Cleveland spectrum, but I think it's a pretty interesting story on the landscape of everything that's going on, and that is Jags. Oh no, I'm sorry, wrong button. Give me 1 second.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert's right. Fournette wants Jags to sign Cam Newton. Sorry, it's not all the way up there. I didn't realize that. So Cam Newton headed down, possibly, well, not possibly, hearsay is he might be headed to Florida to play with Fournette. Your guys' punt or grunt on that. Go from there.
Go ahead, Sam.
Cam to the Jags. If they're going to make the offer legitimately, yes. I'm all over that. Cam Newton is still a great playmaking quarterback. Okay, he had the problem that every quarterback during transition has, and where they look a little bit worse than they are, along with injuries. But let's not forget that Super Bowl Cam Newton was he's still one of the greatest I've ever seen when it comes to
Superman,
being a mobile guy with a big arm who makes great decisions. He's gotten away from that. Carolina, the split needs to happen, but Cam Newton with Leonard Fournette and the receiver, they just signed a receiver down there as well.
They have TJ Chark.
I'll figure it out.
Chark is great.
That could work. Do I think it's going to happen? No. So if I'm the brass in Jacksonville, I'm grunting, but I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah, because they do have DJ Chark down there. I forgot all about him, but I don't see anything about them signing. Any big.
I think they signed Tyler Eifert, the former Bengals
tight end from Cincy.
Yeah, I believe that's what they did.
Go ahead, Tom. You touch on this, and I'll fact check Tyler Eifert.
All right. Last show, I talked about this. I would love to see Cam Newton rocking that number 1 jersey for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That backfield would be so large, it would be so hard to take down, and it would create so many mismatches with the combination of being able to truck through defensive linemen and elude defensive linemen and being able to elude them. Fournette is big and he's fast. Cam, big and fast with a huge arm. Cam did a lot more with a lot less in Carolina, okay? So you bring him to Jacksonville, which has a semi-competent offensive line, a running back that is almost as good as Christian McCaffrey with a different skill set, and competent receivers, and a tight end that isn't a dinosaur because he did have Greg Olsen out in Carolina. He's going to have a younger guy in Tyler Eifert. I truly believe that's a match made in heaven. Now, Pump Boy brings up something interesting, Gardner Minshew. Mm-hmm. Minshew is a great prospect at quarterback for the Jaguars. But Minshew in no way, shape, or form is ready to perform at a high level for an entire season. Guy that is Cam Newton. Cam Newton would definitely bring an AFC South team like the Jaguars, who's kind of a bottom dweller right now, kind of up to the top. Yeah, I'm not saying playoffs. I'm not saying because he does have Phillip Rivers in that division. He does still have Deshaun Watson in that division.
Yeah, but
I'm going to tell you right now.
Here's something else. Who's going to take on Nick Foles right now? Isn't Nick Foles?
Nick Foles got traded to the Chicago Bears. He is now competing with Mitchell Trubisky for a starting quarterback position after the Chicago Bears committed to Mitchell Trubisky for another year.
Yeah, you're right.
And quick fact check, Jacksonville did pick up Tyler Eifert.
That's a bingo.
Yes. So myself, I'm going to, I like Minshew last year. He showed a lot of potential. And based off of that, I'm going to punt on Cam headed down to Florida. I don't like, all that's going to do is break up, whatever continuity that is down there between, him and DJ Chark. Chark was a great wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars all last year. He did well. And if you bring in Cam Newton, that's just throwing in a big curveball. I mean, I get that you're just trying to make yourself better and your team better, but at the same token, I don't know that it's going to make it better versus making them worse over time. So, but yeah, so that's a punt. So a punt for me, but 2 grunts, correct?
2 grunts.
That's absolutely a grunt for me.
Yeah. All right. So now, let's see here. Let's bring on our special guest. Now he was on here last week, just so you guys know. He had dollar store internet at his home, I do believe. So he had a few issues streaming. But hopefully tonight, let's welcome in John McCoy. Welcome to the show, there, my friend.
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac is right. Yeah. So I'm going to give John the floor. Like I said, last time we were here, John had a lot of issues, I don't know, we couldn't figure out whether it was his Bluetooth setup, whether or not it was the dollar store internet that he has, or
let's celebrate that.
Yeah,
let's talk some more about it.
Or whether it was just the device he was using. But as you can see, he's rolling pretty good right now. So, John, we like to, again, talk about Ashtabula County, and he's done a lot for the county in the past year. So go ahead and re-speak about, what your business is and what you do with it. And, you got the floor.
All right. Well, first off, thanks, guys, for having me on. I'm super psyched about the show. I like all the topics and everything that's covered from, majority being sports into just local business and just supporting the community. That's huge. But I guess to fast track what my business is and what we do, I started a company called the Iron Foundation, and we actually provide a service marketing program for individuals that are, I guess, considered in a subcategory or an underserved category. And long story short, what we do is provide incentive-based fitness and rewards programs for this population. Thank you, Ryan, for the blip there. Through a sponsoring agency. So we partner with places like the hospital, the Donahoe Center, schools. Trying to think of basically any agency within Ohio. Originally was primarily Medicaid. And we take these folks and give them an opportunity to have role models that are obviously like positive, but in addition, we offer them the opportunity to, work out, for lack of better terms. But
You're all right. All right. So I want to speak up real quick. We talked about it a little bit last time we were on the show. But what you did down at Lakeshore Park, I thought it was a great Walnut Beach. Yeah, I apologize. But I thought it was a great success of what was going on down there. So if you can explain what you did, why you did it, and how you did it, that would be great.
Sure. So I always get a little sketchy about getting into it because I kind of just did what I wanted to do. So a little over a year and a half ago, I wanted to start this programming by initially giving. So you got to give to get, right? So what I decided to do was think like, hey, if I start putting these fitness parks out in the community, what we can do is utilize the programming that we have to offer in a summer program format and utilize the parks within the city and offer like an additional space for people just in the community to work out for free, right? And take better care of themselves. So that was like the initial push. So I decided like to do it on Walnut Beach as a great starter, and it actually gained the interest of the city. But along the way, like anything else, when you work with any government, there's a lot of hiccups. There's a lot of, certifications and documents that you got to get approved and whatever. And it got to the point where like the council was cool with it. The city was cool with it, but I couldn't get anybody to give me like a piece of paper that said like they sign off on it and say it was okay. So basically I talked to the city manager and just decided, I was like, well, I mean, you said, yeah, I didn't hear from anybody else, so I'm going to go build it. So I built it. And it was a good thing because this summer we're going to be providing programming for folks out this way. I can give you guys more information about that. It's on Facebook at the Iron Foundation, and excuse me, we can help the kids in the community. But we will be building additionally in on Smithfield, probably towards later summer,
Really?
August, after we have our fundraiser. Thank God, May 1st, we're going back to business so we can keep our stuff on schedule. But I believe it's July 20th, July 18th. I can't remember the date specifically, but if you check out our Facebook page, you'll see the flyer for the golf outing.
It's July 18th.
Excuse me.
July 18th, Tom said.
I think is it July 18th, Tom?
Oh,
Yeah.
I am so ready. It's been on my calendar for a year now.
Yeah,
It was a party.
Yeah.
Last year it was our first one. It got a little out of control. I should have really reconsidered paying for everybody's beer.
no, I don't think you should have. I mean, I think you totally should pay for everyone's beer. Love it.
Well, we're gonna do some trick shots.
Yeah, this year too. We do have full intentions. The Iron Foundation is it. So your golf outing is going to be called the Iron Foundation Golf Outing. I'm assuming. Is there a name for it? Or is that what do you call it, John?
It's just it's our second inaugural
Okay.
golf outing.
So second inaugural golf outing at the Iron
continue to do it every
Foundation.
year until we can stop building or whatever transpires. But as far as we're going to keep it going every year, man. It supports Maple Ridge local community and gives people a place to work out. In addition to programming.
Yeah, the 440 and Gold does plan on broadcasting. I know Sammy last year, I do believe. Didn't you cook quite a bit out there, Sammy?
Yep, I was the hot dog cooker, and then I ran around with beers and watched all you guys hack up that beautiful course.
Right, and then Thom, what is it you call it when you get a little bit too much, have a little too much alcohol? What is your statement?
Ham bone, brother.
Yeah, he got a little ham bone drunk. He said
I actually called Sammy and said, "Sammy, aquí, cervezas, aquí," multiple times.
Yeah, but so this year, 440 and Gold. We are going to go out there and we're going to broadcast live. We're going to have a little fun with it. We're going to have quite a few different things going on. So we'll probably have some Sammy, show that coffee mug off real quick that we got going. Yeah,
this is going to be for our special giveaway tonight.
Yeah, we do have a trivia giveaway tonight at some point in time. Don't worry, you're not going to get the one that he slobbered all over their audience.
You got to pay extra for that.
It will be a brand new one.
He's got the Rona.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's take. It's just about 8:30 now. We're gonna take 5. We do want to shout out a local business. I'm gonna let Tom take the floor on this one. Go ahead, Tom. Let's see. Showing. Give me 1 second.
All right. So I wanted to plug a local business tonight. Very good friend of mine, a groomsman in my upcoming wedding, along with Ryan. Anthony Aquendo left Verizon a few years ago and followed his passion of a business. He was excellent at cell phone sales, and he's passionate about technology. He transitioned into his business, Cracked, that he runs with his brother, Joe, and his wife, Jahida, and his son, Gianni's there quite often. At the bottom, you'll see his phone number. Anthony provides a fantastic service, an alternative to paying insurance on your phone, on your cell phone plan with like a Shurian or something. Anthony stands behind his work. He warranties his work. He does everything very informatively. He keeps you apprised every step of the way with what he's doing. He uses official, legit parts. It's nothing, no corners are cut whatsoever. If your phone is messed up, if it's cracked, bring it to Cracked, and he will work his magic. And it's not just cell phones either. I mean, he can do iPads, he can do Apple Watches. I think he does laptops and video game systems as well. Just a very intelligent, thoughtful person, someone I'm very proud to call my friend, and local business that keeps his community in mind. And I really appreciate having him as a friend and as a business owner that cares about his product and what he does.
Hey,
so
Tom,
if you need something, hit up Cracked.
He is the reason why Gianna still has a cell phone, because God knows she has broken about 3 times, and because his prices are so so low, I was able to actually get it fixed for her. So big shout out to Anthony for keeping my daughter's phone going because Lord knows they don't take care of them phones.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, John, you had a question for me.
Yes. Does Anthony offer the I think it was called Redux when it was at Verizon, where they could suck like the moisture out of your phone? Does he do that too by chance?
I believe Anthony does. I've seen him post a few things about if your cell phone got waterlogged, don't use the rice, use us. Something to that effect. It was a while ago that he posted that. But he does have a website that I'm gonna send over to Ryan for him to put on the bottom of the screen towards the end of the show, so you can go and you can set your appointment up with him totally through the website. And Anthony does clarify he does offer water damage data recovery. So anything you need, instead of sending it off to a Sharian, stay local, support a business that he's very passionate about. He's not going anywhere. He does this for his community, and I couldn't be more blessed to know a person like him. So
I literally dropped my phone in a hole full of water and slurry and mud, and I can no longer hear out of my earpiece. So Aquendo, do me a favor and send me a little PM, and you got my business, bro. Make my earpiece work.
Crackedrepair.com, guys. Crackedrepair.com. That's going to be where you go to set up an appointment. I think he does like remote appraisals too. So, totally social distance compliant, even before social distancing was a thing. Aquendo was ahead of the curve.
I think
here's the reason the curve's flattening.
I'm pretty sure I got that. Is it repair or repaired?
No, repair. You got it.
Repair.
Okay,
you got it.
All right. Yeah. So 8:30. Just want to thank. We got 24 viewers right now, and that's awesome. We're rocking and rolling. Don't forget, everybody. We do need the likes. We do need the hearts, the thumbs up. Those all help us push on with this. Me, Sammy, and Tom have invested a lot of time into this, but it's a lot of fun. We thoroughly enjoy it in every way, shape, or form. But don't forget to like us. We're going to take us about a 2 to 4 minute intermission somewhere right in there, and let us get something to drink, and we'll be right back.
BRB, y'all.
What's up, Brian? I'm drinking the Beavers. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You guys are back on, just so you guys know.
Let's run it, baby.
Yeah. All right, let me hide this, get that out the way, get Mr. McCoy back in the stream with us here.
Johnny.
All right. So let's see. We got 21. We're down a little bit compared to what we had. We were rolling at 31. So thank all 21 viewers right now for being here with us. We do want to get to your questions, have our takes on it. I do want John had a question while we were on break, so I'm going to let him briefly take the floor. I think it's a shout out to Elijah Cooper real quick. So let me let him take the floor real quick, guys, and then we're going to get right back into it.
Thanks, Ryan. So as I was waiting for my turn to speak or be introduced, I guess, full disclosure, I had to pee so bad. And I tried to put everything in an elevator pitch, and I apologize. So to circle back to away from everything that I'm doing, obviously the show is based on like the community progress. And I read Elijah's post about getting on the show, and I think that would be a huge asset for the community and viewers, and it also supplements the position and leverage that I'm trying to create for the Iron Foundation, what we're trying to do. So we identify with folks in the communities that we work in. We work outside of ASHTABULA, but ASHTABULA obviously is my hometown, so I've always had a special passion for it. It just took a little longer to get like a penetration, but people like Elijah Cooper are the type of guys that you want to see doing what they're doing and being a part of the things that I offer and what I'm trying to provide. But I think that he would be a huge lift to the show and also to the community, because I think a lot of people, especially myself coming up, I definitely looked up to him. And I think that it will be a great conversation piece with everything else, even outside of sports, because he's been a lifelong Beulah cat. So
absolutely,
that's my bit, and I do appreciate you guys having me here.
Yep. And so didn't Coop is the head coach over at Edgewood? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Coordinator.
Excellent.
The OC. Okay,
Yeah.
So he's
Very
OC
cool.
over at
Oh,
Edgewood.
he's the OC.
All right.
He's the OC?
I thought he was head coach.
No, I believe he's the OC.
Well, we'll figure that one out in time.
When's Lakeside bringing him on? That's what I want to know. When's he going to be the head coach of Lakeside? Let's start some controversy.
Yeah.
I'll start controversy.
Yeah, he was supposed to, if I recall, he put a bid in for it quite a few years back, and it kind of fell apart. I'm not exactly sure why. Anyone know any more about that?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't.
Sammy said, "Look at Sammy."
Yeah.
Sammy said, "Nope.
Not today. Not today.
Hey, Sammy, he is the most qualified, most experienced, most involved. He's everything that you would want in a head coach. Why wouldn't he be the head coach? It's baffling to me. Why wouldn't he be the head coach of Lakeside High School?
As the Puerto Rican people say, yo no sé.
Oh, you're taking that one, huh?
What's that? I plead the fifth.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I know I was, I was very verbal when that all happened. I was very verbal about my distaste, my discourse with that. I'm not going to continue to put energy into it. So, I am. I'll tell you this.
Marcus Anthony says.
I'll tell you what. I think what Edgewood did is they acquired just an absolute phenom when it comes to talent at the coaching level for Elijah Cooper, because to me, Elijah Cooper, I see a lot of the most important coach in my high school career amongst all the sports. I see a lot of Sean Allgood in him.
Yeah.
In a relatable person who has a large understanding of sports. Kids are going to listen to him and has a genuine passion for the area. So, sometimes the cards aren't right at this time or that time. I don't know. I'm not the athletic director at ASHTABULA. I know that Edgewood, kudos to them because they saw some talent and they jumped on it, and now they're going to have some kids and some athletes that are truly going to succeed, because if anybody can lead you to the promised land, it's that man.
Yeah.
So, question:
How if I could build off of it a little,
somebody that lives, let's just say over like by Kane Avenue, by 44th. Let's say they wanted to go to Edgewood. Can they? Is it open enrollment in Ashtabula?
As far as I know, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you can open enroll at certain times of the year to just about any school.
Yeah, but
out
you know,
there.
the one problem that these kids are going to run into, and that's a whole nother topic for another show, is I believe it's OSHA or whatever the Ohio high school sports is. They make these kids sit out a year like they're college students. Yeah. And you guys know as well as I do that for some kids, every single year of high school is the difference between going to a D3 and not getting any scholarship money and going maybe to a D2 and getting your scholarship paid for. So, you know, that's that rule right there. And I understand why they're doing it, because they don't want these football factories, you know, quote unquote. But, you know, they're happening anyway. And trust me, there's ways around it.
Well, don't they have a newer formed midget league program that may potentially funnel in that direction, or is that under Lakeside, like Lakeside's regime?
So every school system has their own midget.
No.
Yeah, every school system has their own like midget league. So Edgewood's got theirs, Asheville's got theirs, you know. But just because you play in that, you can play in whichever one you want to. But ultimately, when you get to 7th grade, the district you live in or the district you're enrolled in, if you switch to another district, unless it's in the case of, I think like if your parents get divorced or you move or something like that, you have to sit out a year. You know, St. John had that happen with Sal Jackson's son came over to St. John. He went from Lakeside to St. John and had to sit out half a year, which to me is garbage.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's an Ohio law. So let me ask this, and that was my original intention with the question before about the midget leagues. So let's say hypothetically you get a kid that's incredibly talented, right? And they want to follow a coach that's got the pedigree that's going to bring their kid up and give them the best opportunity. If he lives in Ashtabula and you got somebody like Coop over in Edgewood, what's going to stop that parent from, at that level, being able to put their address elsewhere?
So you can do that.
It's almost like tax evasion versus tax avoidance. That's what.
Oh no, you can do. How do we do that? You can do that, and you can risk it, but those guys follow up worse than IRS agents. I'm telling you, they find out. Yeah, they find out, and here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. If it's found out that the kid does that, I believe the team has to forfeit the season. So it's really, you know, a coach is
ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I like I said, I get what they're doing, but you know, these are kids and they should be able to pick whatever school they want to play for.
If I can build off it a little bit, what you guys were going with Olajuwon not being the head coach at Lakeside, I think Olajuwon was with obviously Josh Cooper and Marcus White, and when they consolidated, when Lakeside became a thing, Harbor and Ashtabula consolidated. I think that the leadership that Olajuwon showed in high school, and then, you know, committing to his college and doing what he did in college, and then, you know, becoming who he's become now, I think it kind of behooves Lakeside to take a look at him, because Olajuwon is so ingrained in Ashtabula's culture, and I think more than being a football coach for these young men that Lakeside has, a football player is only as good, in my opinion, as the person that inspires them, the person that leads them. Olajuwon being able to overcome that adversity of, you know, hey, this was Ashtabula's team, this was Harbor's team, and became a leader of two high schools combined into one. I know we need to move on, but I just think that seeing someone like Olajuwon who was a leader and, you know, seamlessly transitioned into that, could really inspire and show these young men what it means to be a winner and how to take personal responsibility for things now. So I think that it would really behoove Lakeside to take a look at that, because I don't think, looking at the program, those young men at Lakeside have been inspired. And I think it's time that they become inspired. To go back to like how John, the football team's John was on. I mean, God, I love watching those guys every Friday.
Oh, that's because we had Jake Corlew calling the plays, baby.
Well, you guys, I didn't play football in high school, but you guys played.
I would love to see Corlew.
You guys played for your coach. You guys respected him. You guys bought into what he did. And I don't think that these young men buy into what these coaches do.
All I was saying is I think Elijah Wan's he's gonna bring gold wherever he goes, is what I'm saying. And I think that Lakeside should just capitalize on the opportunity to utilize
100%.
somebody that's in his position. And that's,
I mean, he might. The situation is, I don't know how long he signed for over at Edgewood. I don't know if it's something like, year to year. I don't know how any of that works, to be quite frank with you. But when that time comes, that time comes. But let's we got quite a few topics left, and we got just over an hour left in the show. So I don't want to get too crazy. That is going to be some topics that we are going to cover, though. Once we get a little bit closer to the high school season, we do plan on doing a little bit of scouting just to see what's going on at all the schools. So it's going to be a blast. Next topic was one that Sammy thought of, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And that would be favorite NBA players of the 90s and 1000s, or 2000s, I should say.
Sammy and I had a joint effort with that, Ryan.
I mean, if you need credit, you take it. It's fine. I get it.
All right, can I start on this one?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm going to let Tom take the floor.
All right, so favorite players of the 90s and 2000s. In my mind, those are formative years for me in sports. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household where, my father didn't force a team on me for basketball because he just didn't care. He was more of a football guy. Growing up, Shaq came out, and that was just a dominant force. I was never really a Shaq guy, but the person that I really bought into, and my first ever favorite player in the NBA was Anthony Penny Hardaway. Penny wearing number 1 for the Magic. Yeah. That was just dope. That was insane. You go to Andre Miller from the Cavs. I always liked Miller. He was as I understood the point guard position, was a passing position, was a guy who distributed, saw the floor. To me, Miller was that guy. Zdrunas Ilgauskas.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing at you, Tom. I'm laughing at Denny Stillman's answer.
Delonte West, man. Unfortunate story. But I'm going to move into the 2000s. So Penny, Z, and Andre Miller in the 90s. And then we go into the 2000s. I'm going to just throw something up on the screen here real quick. You'll see who my favorite player of the 2000s and of all time is. Tracy McGrady. I got the logo tattooed on my arm.
All right.
T-Mac, my favorite player of all time. Huh?
In prison?
No, I didn't get that in prison. I got that in San Juan, Puerto Rico. A man named Postway. He was a character. But anyway, Tracy McGrady, favorite player of all time. I have literally every colorway of every shoe he ever put out. And a few are autographed by McGrady himself, which was pretty cool. Allen Iverson, like Pump Boy said, I love Iverson. I have all the questions and the answers, every shoe. And then Delonte West. I love Delonte West. I love Damari Stoudemire. I love Delonte West because that dude looked like he could have been in a Young Jeezy video at 9 a.m. and then he was balling with Tony Allen and Paul Pierce at 5 p.m. That dude lived a double life like Clark Kent only could as Superman. Man,
he put it on Facebook when he got arrested. That was at 9 a.m.
Dude, that was an unfortunate situation, man. I don't think we should make fun of that. That dude obviously has some problems, and I hope he gets the help that he needs. But just my final favorite player of the 2000s, I would probably go with Richard Hamilton. I love Rip. He was awesome. He played a team role. He was instrumental in those Pistons beating the super team of Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone in 2004, which, I mean, if you told me that a team of role players and Rasheed Wallace were going to beat 4 NBA legends in a best of 7 series, I would have told you were a damn liar. But they did it, and they did it well. And Richard Hamilton, wherever he went, he was the consummate teammate and professional, and he just did it right. So those are my favorite players of the 90s and 2000s. LeBron is not on there, by the way.
Hater.
So from the 90s, my favorite player from the 90s, not the best player, but my favorite player from the 90s was Patrick Ewing. I was a Knicks fan when I was a kid. I understand that everybody around here loved Mark Price and Brad Daugherty, but that's just before I started watching basketball as a kid. I loved the Knicks. So Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Allen Houston, Charlie Ward. They even had Oakley toward the end. You know, those were my teams. I loved the Knicks. So Pat Ewing, still probably my favorite center of all time. Not the best, but he's my favorite. After him, I would say Larry Johnson. Grandma Ma is probably one of the most entertaining basketball players I can remember ever seeing as a kid.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean he was great. You know what I mean?
Sammy, did you say Grandma Ma?
Grandma Ma. That was his.
Who is Grandma Ma?
That's Larry Johnson. Bro.
That's Larry Johnson. He had a commercial.
Thank God you're only a producer.
Yeah, he had a shoe commercial. I believe it was for Reebok, where his character was a grandma that played basketball. Like he was Grandma Ma. Anyway, he was dope. So Patrick Ewing, Larry Johnson, those are my guys from the 90s. I love Sean Kemp too. I loved skinny, not Cleveland Sean Kemp. That guy was awesome because Sean Kemp came to Cleveland and must have just ate every minute of the day because he got fat and just couldn't do anything.
He also had 9 kids while he was here.
Yeah, for that matter, Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, he did.
That boy Antonio
Cromartie. Larry Johnson. I was a big fan of John Starks. I still say he's the most underrated guy on that team.
John Starks was legit.
Of the 2000s, it's pretty simple for me. Allen Iverson and LeBron James. I mean, those are – first of all, Allen Iverson is my favorite guard that has ever played the game. Like, I understand that he was a 6-foot shooting guard that led the league in scoring. So, this guy was a 6-foot – and I was obsessed with the crossover when I was a kid. Not the and one crossover. I wanted that crossover that got you to the basket. So, Allen Iverson, LeBron James of the 2000s, in the 90s. I'm definitely going Patrick Ewing, Sean Kemp, Larry Johnson.
All right, nice. Hey, Sammy, what would happen if somebody were to rip that crossover from you? What would
you turn? You typically turn into a karate star. You just chop him in the throat.
And then you step over him like he did to Ty Lue in the final.
Actually, I was going to bring that up. I couldn't remember the coach's name for the life of me, but yeah, Ty Lue, just a step over. Yeah. So, John, who do you got for the early 90s? And I'm sorry, not early 90s, but 90s and 2000s?
Jordan.
Yep. Really. Unhealthy obsession you had with him.
I did. I know. No homo. Dude. I watched Michael Jordan to the max like 500 times. I'm not kidding. I wanted to be Michael Jordan when I was like 12. He was, dude, he's amazing.
Kind of look like him.
He's still with me. You watch him, he's amazing. And then LeBron James. Dude, I love the most. I love the runners and the winners. I like winners. Right. Nobody bets on a stock to lose.
Sammy rode the Cowboys out all of the 2000 or early 90s. Let's just
yeah, when I was a kid, I was a Cowboys fan. My room was blue, light blue and dark blue, and with a silver banner. Yeah. Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irving were the NFL as far as I was concerned.
Hey, I got a question for you, Sammy.
Go ahead, John.
So you talk about Allen Iverson and how prolific he was and how he made an impact on you. Do you feel, because hip-hop is so ingrained in the NBA culture now, do you think Allen Iverson was the catalyst to bringing that subculture to the NBA?
Yes, because he was so good that they couldn't even when people tried to tear apart his actions by, my favorite thing, he's a thug. He's a thug. That's all everybody described him as. He's a thug. But guess what? He was a thug. But when it came down to, like John was saying, you put money on the Sixers for the over because the man was going to put points on. And like, that's what he did. And I'm telling you, that his crossover dribble, like Tim Hardaway had a great crossover dribble.
He did,
in the early 90s.
He did.
But the crossover that Allen Iverson had with that ridiculous amount of speed, and let's not forget, he was defensively probably the best guard in the league at that time too. And he didn't care. He was, chains and all this other stuff. He had the best shoes. Everybody was all over Jordans. The question, I think it's the question, the one that was the white Reebok with the blue toe.
Yes.
That's still one of the coldest shoes of that entire.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Hey,
I will never forget the answer 6, which is my one of my top 5. I'm a huge sneakerhead. You guys all know that. I like them. The answer 6, which came out when I was in 8th grade. I will never forget. That was the first time I ever heard one of my favorite rappers now, Jadakiss. He was in a commercial with Allen Iverson rapping while they wore his shoes and they were just dribbling. And it was the most basic commercial, but it was one of the coldest commercials I'd ever seen. Black and white, AI dribbling, Jadakiss rapping in the back. Oh my God. Like that's where that question kind of came from, Sammy, like kind of ingraining hip hop to the NBA.
Best commercial is the LeBron's.
No, the best commercial is that.
In the background.
It's that.
I can't remember a LeBron commercial.
You remember that Nike dribble commercial
where they squeaked across the court, and made the beat?
Yeah,
it was tight. It was tight.
That commercial right there is probably my favorite.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll tell you, one of the coldest shoes ever, and people hate on them, are the Adidas Kobe 2s. Those are one of the coldest shoes ever made. But look, people hate on them.
Rest in peace to Kobe, but I'm sorry, he had the ugliest shoes of all time. Everything he came out with. Do you not remember those bricks?
I remember talking about the Adidas Kobe 2s.
Oh my!
I would literally drop $2,000 on those right now if you gave me an original pair.
We had one player on our freshman team that wore those, and he literally looked like he was kicking cinder blocks in those things. It was the most ridiculous looking shoe.
Anthony Carlisle had them. And
Brandon Tackett is who had those shoes.
Oh my God.
They were ridiculous.
Wait, Tic Tac wore something that weren't Jordans?
Yes. This was freshman year, man.
Oh my God, my mind is blown.
Fundo, absolutely. Moon boots.
Hey.
Oh, all right, there goes Ryan. Anyway, other than Jordan, because I do distinctly remember John every time I would go to his house being like, dude, let's watch it again. That Jordan IMAX movie. Who else did you rock with at that time? Because I remember you wore 45 as your number.
That was the Jordan's comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, it was about Jordan for me, man. I mean, it was like the last hurrah for him, like 95. Like, I'm 30. I think I'd be 33 this year. Born in 87, so like 96, 97, 98. You know what I mean? When he went three-peat, break, try to play baseball professionally. How many people can say they did that in a lifetime? You know what I mean? Yeah. And he comes back to the NBA and just crushes it.
Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders.
I mean, I liked AI. I had his shoes because everybody else had them. I thought they were cool too. But, I mean, he just had a crossover. He wasn't just beating the brakes off of people. I'm a straight and forward dude. I like Michael Jordan and I like LeBron James. Anybody else as of now is just irrelevant until they show up and are better than LeBron, I guess.
Kawhi Leonard?
Not better than LeBron. Sorry.
Kawhi Leonard beat the
He's not as dominant as LeBron. Sorry.
Oh man. Okay.
LeBron James brought a team of us, all four of us, to the NBA Finals against the Spurs.
Very true.
The talent equivalent to that team is the talent equivalent in this chat room right now. And he brought them.
That's all I have to say. If anybody watches basketball and they see Dellavedova play basketball, you're like, how did that guy make it to the NBA? And LeBron won an NBA championship with that guy on his squad.
And Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
Well, Kyrie's dope. Kevin was broken. He was just there. Thank God for that. Thank God he was able to keep it together for that part of the game.
Kevin Love blocked Stephen Curry. He played defense on Steph Curry when Curry was unguardable.
Steph Curry.
Kevin Love before that game was a complete ghost. Before that game, for the entire season, he was a complete ghost.
He was supposed to be the physical dominance in the paint to set the message.
He couldn't even shoot.
Well, he could shoot from the outside, but he was supposed to have because they ran. He was supposed to. He looked like he was falling apart. It looked like he had flat tires running down the court. It was horrible to watch. And then, like all of a sudden, he had like an inspiration. I don't know if he found Jesus or what happened, but all of a sudden he had like one good game and he was resurrected. But I mean, thank God for it. But he wasn't the answer. LeBron did it.
Let's be honest.
All right.
Let's be honest right now. When that shot went up, when Steph Curry took that shot and Kevin Love was the one defending him, if you sit there, you or anybody in the world sits there and tells me that they had utter confidence that he was going to be able to alter that shot enough to make him miss, you're a liar. Because he was not that guy throughout the playoffs. Now that play solidified it. That's great. You know, I will never take that away from him. But it was one of those, it's the same type of deal when somebody takes a shot and you're like, why are you shooting that? Until it goes in.
Right.
With Kevin Love, when he was guarding Steph Curry, I'll never forget it. I stood up, I go, here we go. That's it. And then it didn't go in. I had more confidence in Kyrie's step back, which will go down. I don't care what happens ever in the future, as my favorite Cleveland Cavaliers shot ever. That shot alone is my favorite shot ever. That typical Kyrie step back, just cooked him.
For sure.
That shot, when it left his hands, when it left his hands, I knew that was going on. I knew that was going in. When Kevin Love was guarding Steph Curry, I didn't have that much confidence.
All right, so I am the only one that hasn't produced a name. So a few seconds and just relax. That would be great. So I'm going with this guy here. One, I think it was Anthony, not a Quendo.
Marcus
Anthony. I'm going to co-sign with him all day with some Latrell Sprewell for no other reason.
I already know why.
For no other reason than his shoes.
Because they had spinners on them.
Data. All day long.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they had spinners on them. They weren't 20s. They weren't 18s. They were like 2-inch. But you pumped the tongue, if I recall right, and they spun. And what was that?
You just walked and they spun.
Yeah, did they really? I didn't know that. I mean, I could imagine a set of those right now. If you could find one in premier condition.
They go for $350 on eBay. I just looked them up the other day.
That is ridiculous.
Good
I don't know about that.
And if I recall right, what company? It
was
wasn't.
Data.
Dada.
Excuse me.
Dada King. Yeah, that's it. I was thinking that Stephen Barry's.
That was Marbury.
That was
Marbury.
Dada.
Yeah.
Dada took the place of And One. Like, people forget when And One tennis shoes first came out, they weren't cheap.
No.
And One tennis shoes were like that $50 to $60 range. And then all of a sudden they got cheap. And here comes this weird company with completely customizable shoes to the point of, I remember my junior year, Lakeside's basketball team, that was their team shoe. Were Dadas.
I remember that.
Oh, no. It was the Dada Supremes. It was the Dada Supremes.
And they were cold. Yeah, those shoes were cold.
I remember.
And that's another thing we should talk about too, because that basketball team, I don't know how that basketball team, when we were juniors in high school, or even when we were sophomores, how they didn't do anything, because they had some of the best basketball players I've ever seen in Ray Harris, Rashad Osborne, Cameron Bob out there, who was just giant.
I've never seen somebody dunk the ball as hard as Cameron Bob. Or, dude, you know that cat ran like sub 4.4 And he
Yeah, like
Jim.
But real quick before we get into that, because that is totally taking it.
Sorry,
I mean, they have nothing to do with the 90s and 2000s basketball. We can get into it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Other one I think we're kind of forgetting, and we talked about him the other day, was Kobe. He was in the early 2000s. He played against Jordan, and he rocked out. So, yeah, that would be my other favorite. You know, the Black Mamba is going after it no matter what.
R.I.P., man. R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace. I did not like him when he played.
Legend.
I did not like him when he played because he was such a headache for LeBron. Not like
Sure.
He was not he was actually more like Jordan than LeBron in that he was just a terrible person. Like no, like when it came to, like on court attitude, they were garbage people. They made everybody feel terrible. Like there was never like you'll never see them helping somebody up or anything. They were the ultimate competitor. So if he's on your team, you love him. If he was not on your team, you hated his guts because he was a pompous like jerk when he was playing you and had every right to be.
Time he scored 50 points for like 11 games in a row or something crazy.
Hey buddy, he dropped 81 as well.
Yeah, right. But
Ryan, I'm gonna go off your Kobe thing a little bit. The reason I will always say, and Kobe's not number one player of all time. That's a discussion for another topic we can get into later. But the reason I will always hold Kobe higher than I hold LeBron, Kobe asked for a trade, I believe in the summer of 2003 or 2004 to the Chicago Bulls.
Correct.
And then he went back on it. And Kobe stayed his whole career through the ups and downs, good and bad. And Kobe won. Kobe found a way to recruit players to his team and to win. Kobe realized if he went to the Bulls, he'd just be chasing Jordan's ghost. In my mind, LeBron went to the Lakers. And in my mind, that was a move that I can't respect because if you want to be the greatest, you got to solidify what you're going to be the greatest at. And if LeBron would have stayed, if he went to Miami, you know what I mean? He goes to Miami, that's fine, whatever. But he comes back and he stays to his word. I'm too tired to leave anywhere again. I'm here with y'all forever. But he leaves and goes to the Lakers. I can't respect LeBron anymore for doing that. Yes, he got us that title, and you're right. I know the argument. But Kobe stayed. Kobe was a Laker for life. And through all the arguments with the front office, coaches, teammates, everything, Kobe was Mr. Laker. LeBron will never be Mr. Cavalier. LeBron will be Mr. NBA.
That's
because
right.
of the teams he's gone to. But Kobe, in my mind, is a better team basketball player because he's stuck with one team. He did it how he had so many different iterations of his team. He had Shaq, and then he had nobody. Then he had Pau Gasol and Ron Artest. And then he had like Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, and he still stuck around and still tried to find a way to win. LeBron, when the time got tough, he said, I'm going to go with my buddies to South Beach, or, hey, I'm still upset with Dan Gilbert for that letter, and I got some businesses I want to run. I got some stuff I want to develop. I'm going to go to the Lakers, and I'm going to go grab Anthony Davis.
Hey, Tom.
He should have stayed with Cleveland.
Question, Tom.
Yes,
hold
John.
on. I want to comment on Andrew Jepson's his shout out there because those are two guys that I completely forgot about. But my God, were they fun to watch? It's Baron Davis and Stevie Francis, man. Franchise was all of 6 foot tall and banged on anybody in front of him. And Baron Davis, it's a shame that we got slow fat Baron Davis because when he came to the Cavs, he was nowhere near where he should have been. But Charlotte Hornet, Baron Davis, my God, that dude was a monster.
All right, so we could touch on this topic. It sounds like all night if we wanted to, but let's. It's about 10 after 9. Let's take a quick 2-minute intermission. Nothing wild, nothing crazy. John's got a question.
I just wanted one question.
One quick question. Go, John. Go.
I'm just curious.
Go.
Because everybody's different. Different. So. My question was, and I always recognize with LeBron to a degree because, dude, this cat came into the NBA out of high school with very little guidance. He was a freak show.
So did Kobe.
But LeBron he had a lot more hype around him. There was a lot more money involved before he even got to the league, right? So, like, that was an obsolete factor. If somebody told you in your late 20s, hey, listen, man, I'm going to pay you $20 million more or whatever his contract was that was maxed out with whatever the tax difference was in Florida, you're going to go to Miami, right? You're a multimillionaire. You're going to go to Miami. And not only are you in Miami, you're going to win the NBA and you're going to win even more money. At 26, 27, 28 years old, if somebody told me if I'm living in Cleveland, you can go to Miami and you can win championship on championship with half the issues, with a decent team, you're telling me you wouldn't take that opportunity? And just from that perspective.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, John, but Kobe Bryant at age 25, I believe, won 3 titles, and you could go to Chicago where you will be revered as a god and compared to Michael Jordan and get more endorsements, get more Nike money, get more television deals. The money Kobe would have made in Chicago just is astronomical compared to what LeBron made in Miami by going. I mean, sure. And Kobe didn't. Kobe wanted to play basketball.
I agree with you in that facet, but I'm saying from the perspective of somebody at that age going down to a different location to make more money, and then like at that point, I mean, dude, he was in the league since he was 18. He's got all this loot, and he's got some good players in his corner. He's financially savvy. This guy's going to diversify his portfolio, monopolize on the country. That's why he's in Cleveland, Florida, and California. He's doing it nationwide. He's going to be global.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
On the sports factor, I agree with you. Kobe's a lot more loyal.
So, all right.
No, it's cool. I like the discourse.
All right, so we got we're gonna take us about a 2 to 4 minute break here, somewhere right in that ballpark area. Before we go, we do have a good, interesting topic that we're gonna talk about next that I think is gonna last quite a while through the segment. So stay tuned with us. Let us take our quick break and get a drink, whatever it may be. But right now, I want to talk about Nailed It with Jess. Sammy's going to take the floor on that one. Let her talk about all the fun stuff that she does. So, Sam, I got her image up. Let it ride, man.
All right. So what Nailed It with Jess is, this is my wife's she works with a company called Color Street, and what Color Street does is they produce these ready-made nail sets for people who want to give themselves manicures but stay out of the manicure salon. These nails typically last her around 2 to 2.5 weeks. She has a lot of educational videos on how to put them on, troubleshoot, all this other stuff. The amount of colors is ridiculous. I know she works very hard on it. She's a great person to ask about that. Her Facebook page, Nailed It with Jessica, is really going to be full of all kinds of beneficial information. And I think the biggest part that's helped our household with this is Jessica has always liked her nails to be done. So she got them done on a very regular basis. But instead of going to the salon and dropping, $30-$40, however much it costs, she's getting, $100, whatever it is. Now she's getting these manicures that she gets complimented on constantly for about $13 to $12 to $14. She keeps a lot of different colors and has a big stock, so she'll be able to help you with any of those. It's great for adults, for children. She works with the girls with it. She's, like I said, she works really hard. I sit back in awe of how great she really is with this. So if you or somebody is interested in getting some nails at a very affordable price, and by the way, it's real nail polish. These aren't stickers. This isn't Lee press-on nails. These are actual nail polish. So it's a high quality product. So give her page a look, and she can walk you guys through from there.
All right, perfect, Sam. Thank you for all that information. Don't forget, everybody, just so they have a heads up, let me get everyone back in. We're going to hide that. Let's solo off and then get here. So don't forget, everybody, that what's going on? There it is. Okay. At the end of the show, well, towards the end, right there, we're going to have a good trivia segment. And the winner of that trivia segment, whoever posts first, is that what we're doing, Sam? Whoever posts first.
No, you know what? Since we're gonna go to break, why don't we post that on the as the graphic? That trivia question as the graphic.
All right,
I like that.
Let me. Hold on one second. Let me get that brought up here.
You're awesome, Jessica.
Yes, you are, baby.
That one there. I'm gonna hide you, Thom, for right now, and John.
No.
And then show this in stream. Give me 1 second. Flying solo. So this is our trivia for the day. The winner of this, actually, Sammy, what are they winning again?
You are going to have shipped to you a 440 and goal coffee mug, personalized with your name up here, if you would like it.
Perfect. So, yep, all you got to do is first to get the answer right and post it to our website. Also, I do believe if you haven't liked it, you got to like it as well. That will be fact checked, quote unquote. But so here is the trivia question of the day. Oh,
You said $50 for hoodies?
yeah.
You said $50 for hoodies, Ryan?
Did it pop up, Sam?
It popped up, but it left already.
Okay, hold on. Let me get it out there again. I apologize, everybody. So, which one of these did Paul Brown not invent is the question. Okay, answers are the draw play, the practice squad, the face mask, or the screen pass. So, first one who gets the answers right or gets the answer right and post it to the wall on our 440 and goal on our Facebook will be receiving a coffee mug.
All right, yeah. Why don't you leave those answers up there for this break time, and we'll run this music.
You hear that music in the background, Sam?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
We'll be back in about 3 minutes, guys.
I'll get one of those hats, Ryan. Where's my phone? I'm going to answer it right now.
Oquendo won.
You guys all ready?
That is correct.
All right, let me.
I'll message you after the show.
So we just found out Anthony Oquendo is the W.
Got the dub.
Coffee maker. So Anthony, congratulations on that. Can't wait to get that out to you. Hopefully you can. That'd be nice to produce that loud and proud over at your shop there in the mall. His shop is located over at the ASHTABULA Town Square. I don't think anything's changed last I knew, but produce that loud and proud. So we're going to move in real quick to the next topic, and that is on a few of my wife's stuff. If I don't get into it, she may punch me in the face. It's very possible in some way, shape, or form. So before we move in, my wife is a rep. Hopefully I'm saying that right, dear, but a rep for It Works. It's a product. Let's see if I can get that up there. It Works. Her product special right now is called Hydrate Plus. She was telling me earlier this week that this is perfect for your pre-workout or your post-workout. It's supposed to a lot of electrolytes in it. It's an electrolyte supplement.
So it's perfect for Pump Boy.
Pump Boy, you better put your order in. I'll get you her info. But provide 6 essential electrolytes for daily hydration support, boost body's ability to absorb nutrients, assist with post-workout recovery, helps deter many hangover symptoms. So gentlemen out there watching, you want
Or ladies.
Yeah, or ladies, but yeah.
Or Megan.
Yeah. Megan in the background over there. I don't know if she's in the background, but supports refreshed, hydrated skin and lemon burst flavor. So her contact information, I'm going to throw it up here on the board. I'm going to give you guys her cell phone number. And that way, if you guys have any questions, you could text her. She's also available on Facebook. You can just search for her. I do believe her name is Rebecca Elizabeth, if I recall right. So, but check it out. Any questions, anything like that, hit her up on it. It Works. Hydrate Plus is the special this week. I do believe a lot of this stuff is like 2 for $49, but hit her up and go from there. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, good stuff, Becky. I hear great things about that from a lot of the people who are taking it. So,
all right. So we're going to get in this topic here because I know the next topic, we're going to skip a few things and wait for next week or our next show. But I feel like we haven't touched on basketball a lot, and I think this would be amazing. And we can talk about this for days. Like I said before we went to break, it was it was the question, an interesting topic, which is, does Braun retire as a Cleveland Cavalier?
Why? Why does it matter?
How does it not matter?
He already won a championship. He said he was going to do it. He's going to win elsewhere. He's more of a Bill Russell than the people like the superhero everybody wants him to be. He does his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if he comes back to Cleveland, I'd love to have him come back because he's a fabulous facilitator. But other than that, it's almost like Sean Kemp coming to Cleveland, but it doesn't matter. Does anybody else feel different? Dude, he's in his early 30s. If you were to switch to another team now, what would be the point, man? You're on the back nine.
It's so listen. He's not coming back. He's not coming back to Cleveland to be effective. He's coming back to Cleveland. He's going to retire, and the answer, from my point of view, is absolutely he's going to retire as a Cavalier. The career is going to begin and start in the same place. Are we going to get an effective LeBron that people are going to look out for and develop plays for? No, we're going to get a retirement guy that's on his way out the door, and that's okay, because here's the thing: how many people in Northeast Ohio have been that prevalent in sports in general? And the answer is not many. LeBron is, if you want to fight about LeBron versus Jordan, that's great. LeBron is definitely one of the best to ever pick up a basketball. And that guy was born, 45 minutes from here. There should be a great deal of pride here, and he has a great deal of pride. He has done, I tell people all the time, and there's a lot of sour Sallies out there because he didn't stay with the Cavaliers. And I'll be the first one to admit, I wasn't a Cavaliers fan. I was a LeBron fan. That's how that went. I was a fan of a kid that I got to watch in high school play local teams and take over the NBA. I had a genuine pride at some guy from Northeast Ohio being considered the best in the league. So that's really where I was at. The Cavaliers have always been the third place team. And honestly, if we had a hockey team, they'd probably be the fourth place team.
Oh, they'd be first.
So, LeBron's going to come back. I think he's going to retire, even if it's a one-day contract or something like that. But is he going to come back and be effective? Absolutely not.
All right.
Myself, I totally agree with Nick Billman. One-day contract unless Cavs somehow draft Bronny Jr. But when he does come back, it's just going to be a one-day, just like anybody else that's been a figurehead in Cleveland, just to retire from here. That's it.
It's literally a one-night stand.
Yeah. I'm going to go off of Sammy and Ryan. It's kind of a copycat, but it's what I thought the second. I wouldn't take LeBron. I wouldn't sign him to, like John said, he's on the back nine of his career. Yeah, you want to sell tickets. Yeah, you want to get people in the stands. You'd love to sell the number 23 jersey again because, that's what people want. But, by that time, 5 years from now, or 4 years from now when his Lakers contract's over, let's say he wants to retire. He wants to go back to Cleveland, retire as a Cav. I wouldn't take him as a player because at that point, hopefully we will have drafted, Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, those guys will have come into their own, assuming we still have both of them. It's going to be a totally different style of play. I don't think LeBron would fit in with that because he's a physical specimen. Father Time's unbeaten. I wouldn't slot LeBron in as a player. I'd slot LeBron in as the one-day contract like Emmitt Smith did. Hey, one-day contract, I'm going to sign it for $1 and I'm going to retire number 23 with the Cavs, get my statue outside, continue to be a presence in Northeast Ohio, in Akron with his I Promise school, because as much as I dog on LeBron, the player, LeBron, the human being and the humanitarian is unparalleled. And what he does for underprivileged children and for people who want to continue their education where they otherwise might not have the opportunity to, that I Promise school is fantastic. He's doing fantastic things with that. And it's an honor to have him in the community as a presence in that way. But I think it's
tarnished, though. It's tarnished because, to your point earlier, what you were saying about Kobe, him sticking around, it means a lot more when somebody stands in the gap. And it seems, a lot of people, and I felt the same way when he first left. I was heartbroken. Like, I felt like he turned on it, right?
It was my 21st birthday.
Right, but at the same time, you have to look at it from a business standpoint. And
reason to get drunk.
Right before we went to break, my buddy Denny wrote on the wall. That cat had a $100 million contract before he got a contract in the NBA with Nike.
Outside of Kobe Bryant, who else is staying with one team? Because everybody gets caught up on that. Who?
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, you're right. Steph Curry is going to stay with one team. He is going to stay with one team.
John
Stockton is from a different. No. I'm talking relevant era players right now.
Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 seconds to think.
Okay, because Giannis is getting out of Milwaukee. I can tell you that.
No,
absolutely, he is.
Wait. Where's Giannis going to go?
He's Milwaukee.
Giannis is either going to end up in LA or even potentially New York if the Dolans ever get out of their own way. He's going to a big market team.
I mean, I don't know what the cap space is.
And I just want to put this out there about Steph Curry, the shooter, this great basketball player.
Tim Duncan.
Without overloading his team, they're not a contender.
Tim Duncan's played his whole career with one team.
Tim Duncan falls in the same era as Kobe. I am talking this current era of superstar.
He was the current era of superstar, Sammy.
Who?
Tim Duncan. He only retired 2 years ago.
Tim Duncan played on the Spurs. The Spurs are 20 years behind every other team.
The Spurs also are one of the most winning teams over the past 20 years.
The Spurs still don't even know what happened at the end of the Nirvana story.
The Spurs had
Kobe.
Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, and they made LeBron call them daddy.
That's a completely.
Took all three of them to beat just him.
Listen,
Dirk, man, Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki. You're right, guys.
Okay,
Listen, I
so
got
if we're
a
gonna
whole
say Dirk
list
Nowitzki,
in
we gotta
front of
say
me
Tim
right now.
Duncan.
Listen, you can say all these names that you want to, but how many of those guys were considered the best player in the league at any point in their career?
Tim Duncan.
No, he wasn't. Absolutely not.
Tim Duncan's the best player of all time, and I can make an argument for it. I will make an argument for it.
Hey, man, we only got 26 minutes left in the show.
All I need is 26 minutes.
I bet you do. We still got to give the Q&A from from everybody.
I mean, I guess I can make an argument that farts smell good. I mean, that's cool.
Right.
No,
Tim
Duncan is one of the best bigs to ever play the game. He's not even the best big, but he's one of the best bigs to ever play the game.
The most fundamentally sound forward in the NBA of all time. Agreed.
Right. But these guys they're not the face of the league. They're not the face of the league. None of them are. Giannis has the chance. LeBron James is the most dominant physical force to be in the NBA until Giannis has come in. Giannis may overtake that because what LeBron James has and his ability to do whatever he wants, nobody else could do that. Nobody else could.
I do have to say that this Leah Frazier is definitely the husband.
I've got bad news for you. If it comes down to finishing at the basket, I'm taking LeBron James 100 times out of 100.
I go with that.
Kawhi Leonard is a defensive demigod that learned how to play offense. LeBron James is if you're playing NBA 2K and you created a cheat code, it would come out as LeBron James. Because there was nothing he did. There was nothing that he was bad at. Nothing. And even his shooting got ridiculously good at the end of his time in Cleveland.
Unpredictably scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick,
that's the best way to describe it.
I just want to shout out everyone that's been watching the show for the past hour and a half, almost 2 hours. It's been great to have you guys. At one point in time, we peaked at over 31 viewers. So pretty amazing, especially today. Today marks our 5th show that we started. This is awesome. It's been epic to have everyone join us here. I'm glad. I mean, we're already to a point where we're rocking shirts. I got hats made. Thom over there is a little upset because all his stuff is in my house. We didn't have time today for him to get it, but he will get it.
I'm not upset as much as I am hurt.
Right. He's hurt. I get it. I mean, I get it.
As a guest.
Yeah.
Nothing as a guest.
Hey, he might get a parting gift. That's about it. But
Andre Rison jersey looks pretty nice.
hey, that jersey other side. That jersey right there is legit. That's the original. If you feel the shoulder pads where it is, I don't know that Rison wore it, but it is a legitimate jersey, by the way. Anyways, so yeah, I just want to shout out everyone that's been with us. I know Denny Stillman's new to the show today. Pump Boy Apache, man, you've been riding with us since day one.
Wait, does anybody know
Pumping Fork?
Yeah, we know.
You guys know him?
Yeah, we know Pump Boy.
We know Pump Boy real well.
Yeah, Leah Frazier, which is actually our.
I'm assuming that's Brandon.
Yeah, that's Brandon all day. Nick Billman, you've been a road dog the whole time since we started. I recall. Marlon, thank you. Denny Stillman, you're new to the show tonight, so
Mark Camp, please.
Mark Camp, please. He's been a road dog. I love the questions. And speaking of questions, that's the next segment we're going to kind of get into. We got about 23 minutes left in the show, so we do want to take some questions from the audience. You are welcome to ask pretty much anything, even if it's in regards to John's business. If you have any ideas for that, if you want to talk about a specific subject, we do have – actually, I got a whole list over here of stuff we didn't even get to, which is fine. We'll save it for the next show. But if anyone has questions, anything of that nature, please put them out there. I'm watching right now to see if anyone puts anything.
Yeah, we had one from earlier.
Is there one?
Denny's father of the year. He's a great guy.
That might be a problem.
Okay, so Marcus Anthony left us a question earlier saying he wants us to discuss how having Ben back in Pittsburgh changes anything. Baltimore has made some changes, and will they get better or worse?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot completely. He actually, thank you, Marcus. You're one of the many that have sent in, just questions to us. And I forgot all about that question. I did some research today, earlier this morning, actually, before I got that. And it is showing on there that Big Ben's not worried about the 49th pick. And by the way, obviously, you can see I'm not a Steelers fan in any way, shape, or form. No one on here is. But he's not worried about the 49th pick. But they are projecting Jacob Eason. Jacob Eason. Yeah, I'm sorry. But who is a 6'6" Roethlisberger look-alike. And with Roethlisberger being 38 years old, going into, I think it's like his, 14th, 15th season, somewhere in there. I'm not 100%.
Somewhere in there because he graduated around the same time we did.
I mean, unfortunately, as a Browns fan, I've been praying that he retires. I mean, I hate the guy, but you can't knock him for what he's been able to do over there in Pittsburgh. I want to call it something else, but I can't say it online. But
He's done.
Yeah.
So Roethlisberger.
Yeah. So Roethlisberger, do you guys think this is his last year? I think would really be the question more than anything.
Might be his last training camp.
So I'm going to say Big Ben is totally correct in not being worried about the 49th pick. He doesn't need to worry about the 49th pick. He needs to worry about free agency and Jameis Winston still being available. Because Jameis Winston, that boy comes into camp. If the Steelers sign him, it's over.
I mean,
Jameis Winston is the heir apparent.
That's a super hot take. Where did you? Is that just an assumption that you have?
It's the only thing that makes sense. Jameis Winston is too much of a commodity to still be on the free agent market, and having an aging quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, it behooves the Pittsburgh Steelers organization to take a look outside and have a guy who's already developed and a guy who has played in a system like Roethlisberger has played in. Bruce Arians was a coach in Pittsburgh.
Dude, Winston
Roethlisberger grew up in Bruce Arians.
Every game.
That's not how. Here's the thing. That's not how Pittsburgh does business. That's not how they're going to do it now. They're damn sure not going to take a 30 touchdown, 30 interception guy because that's not how they play football.
Right.
So better than drafting the guy.
They're going to do what they always do. They are going to put it on Ben Roethlisberger's back again this year.
Sorry. Go ahead, Sam. We're laughing at Denny Stillman's comment.
Oh, Denny. Denny's had a few.
They're gonna ride Ben Roethlisberger this year. You're right. He doesn't have to be worried about the 49th pick because he's done after this year anyway. He knows he's riding. This is his farewell tour. They are going to take Hurts out of Oklahoma, mark it, stamp it, do whatever you got to do. That's their guy this year. That's who they're drafting. They're going to develop a quarterback. They don't sign broken guys. Jameis Winston is probably going to end up somewhere like LA with the Rams or
right. My big question, the Rams. But anyway, my big question is going to be Jalen Hurts going to Pittsburgh.
They're not going to put up with that either.
That changes the entire system in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to take.
Man, I just can't see Hurts going. I mean, they've ran with Big Ben for 15 years. Why would they change the entire system?
Because before Big Ben was Cordell Stewart, and before Cordell Stewart was Neil McDonald.
Before Big Ben was Tommy Maddox.
Or excuse me, you're right, Tommy Maddox. Before Maddox was Cordell Stewart. Before Cordell Stewart was Neil McDonald. So they do not care about. See, the thing is I hate Pittsburgh with the best of them, but the one thing they do is actually coach, and they actually think, and they actually treat football like a evolving sport, not like the Browns who treat it like a somebody playing Madden with a Mad Catz controller.
It's the last round.
There's nothing wrong with the Mad Catz controller.
So
yeah, those are sick. They had that turbo button, baby.
Got the juice over there.
No, that's the difference. That's why I hate Pittsburgh with the rest of them. But you're a liar if you don't say you respect the way that organization runs because they produce winners.
Dude, Steelers are strictly criminal. They load up at the front and they just take whatever they can get in the back and they'll just make do with it. and they'll pay you whatever they want to. And guess what? You're gonna win. You're gonna win. Look at Joey Porter, dude. When he left the Steelers, he was the worst linebacker in the league when he went to Miami.
Yep.
He was a part of a system that they plugged him into, the same as Belichick does with the Patriots.
Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, even this year was nothing compared to what he was.
Who?
Fast Willie Parker.
Fast Willie Parker. The Steelers have this way, and the only team that has a comparable output is the Patriots, where you can go there and look like a stud, and then when you leave, you realize how genius that organization was because they hid every one of your weaknesses.
They coached
like I don't know how they hid the fact that Antonio Brown was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that long.
He was in Pittsburgh. There's not a lot to do, bud.
Ryan, I have another topic just sent in to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
By my fiance. She posits. She sent me a picture. Anthony Davis puts his LA mansion on market today. His $7.9 million mansion. She asks, "Is there trouble in paradise?"
Maybe he's upgrading.
I mean,
that's a pretty intense mansion that he has.
Well, I mean, that's a really tough question because they don't even know what they're doing in the NBA right now. Like, they don't know whether or not they're going to just have the remaining balance of the season over the summer or whether they're going to just wash the season and basically wipe it out. I mean, that's a super tough question.
Anthony Davis,
give me 1 second.
26, maybe.
26?
Maybe.
What if by chance he just blew
Anthony Davis is 27 years old.
So he's 27. Maybe he got a little excited and his contract wasn't guaranteed. I don't know the.
No, here, dude. The LA Lakers are they function strictly off history and name recognition. They are quietly the worst run organization in the NBA. Have been for a while. Have been since Magic Johnson took the reins. There's no reason you should have that name, that payroll,
because they won.
There's no reason you should have that name, that state, that payroll, and not be good. They lived and died off Kobe Bryant. They're literally the Cavs. They're gonna recover before we will.
The LA Lakers are the New York Yankees of basketball.
I wouldn't go that far. It's really hard to compare MLB with basketball just because simply MLB doesn't have a salary cap. Number one reason. That's really tough.
Unless you're in Cleveland.
Right. Well, that's a whole. I mean, we can get into that all day.
So that's another topic. I want to burn that place.
One thing to think about is in January of this year, Anthony Davis did decline his max contract offer from the Lakers, which I don't know whether or not there's a NBA Players Association meeting and they're going to revamp all the contracts, and that's what makes sense. I'd have to look a little bit more into that. But why would you? The honest to God truth is max contract. You love where you're at. You with LeBron. Why would you decline it? That's it. So and now his house is up for sale.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they function on recognition and history.
Is Anthony Davis? Is he?
By the way, Denny, the last championship they won was over 10 years ago. So that's how long it is, bud. They win championships. So did the Steelers in the 70s.
Who are we talking about right now?
You're talking about the Lakers.
Oh, all right. Make sure we're on the same page. The
Lakers are the organization that your dad, my dad, and all the older guys sit and drink a Bud Light and talk about when they were younger. The fact of the matter is, it's a new NBA. You got a team like the Toronto Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, which are mid-market teams, winning titles now, and I just think that it honestly might make sense for Davis to leave the Lakers, man. Like Kyrie Irving wanted to leave the Cavaliers because he didn't want to be in the shadow of LeBron James. Right. He has been on record saying, like, LeBron came up to me after the game we played and said, "Hey, keep doing it and I might come back." And Kyrie was like, "Why?" Like, You know,
Yeah,
I think sometimes the allure of playing with LeBron could be cool, but at other times it's like, I don't want to be the son. You know, I don't want to be Robin. I don't want to be Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Gray. I want to be Bruce Wayne.
Hey, look where
his his nickname should be Planners because that dude's a bag of nuts.
Kyrie?
Yeah.
Bag of nuts that hit that friggin' shot, man.
Yeah, we are talking about that. We're talking about Kyrie who says the earth is flat, correct?
Yeah, like no. So this guy, he goes to Brooklyn. He gets the team that he wants in Brooklyn. He goes to Boston. He's the guy in Boston. Two underclassmen come up and outshow him out there. They do nothing. He goes to Brooklyn. Now he's got the other king of nutbags, the snake himself, Kevin Durant. I can't wait to see the discord that happens in Brooklyn in that crazy, that beautiful court with the nutbags, with all those, with all that talent. But Kyrie Irving, I love him to death, but he is bonkers. He is absolutely bonkers. The dude lost his. If he would have stayed in Cleveland. If he would have stayed in Cleveland for that last year, we would have won another championship.
All right, so we got 10 minutes left basically on the show, and there's one thing that I wanted to get to that I'm pretty pumped about. Just overnight, I think it was yesterday or last night, whatever it may have been. Kareem Hunt, let me bring it up, signed his second-year tender. So I'm pretty excited. Now, what that means, he signed a second-year, $3 million tender. Second round, $3 million tender, if I could say it right. What that genuinely means is that any team can offer him more money, but Cleveland will have every avenue to offer him the same, if not more. So more than likely, Kareem Hunt is a second-year Cleveland Brown. Your guys'
nobody bid on it, so he's
right. Right. I mean, I'm absolutely pumped to have him in the backfield. To assist with Chubb. Chubb, in my opinion, was the best running back. I think he was better than Elliott last year too. But just with everything,
Henry was the best in the league last year.
Yeah, I still Chubb, if I recall right, had the most running yards actually last year, if I recall. Let me get the stats from that. But you guys take that one over. What do you guys think about Hunt being able to stay with Cleveland? Are you excited? You're not excited?
Let me go real quick with this, and then I'll go with you guys can do your thing. I love the move for this reason only. I think if you are truly a playoff team, then let's play chess, not checkers. Let's run Kareem Hunt to death for 8 games. Run him to death until the trade deadline to get his stats so far up there that we can turn him into whatever weakness we have, whether it's safety, linebacker, whatever it is, because there's going to be a team out there that is willing to give something. Somebody's going to have their top running back go down, and we can turn that advantageous to us. And then guess what we get? We fill the hole, and we've got Nick Chubb to come in fresh, who is an absolute beast and still the best running back, not only on this team, but in the division.
Okay. On a split back offset package with Kareem in there.
With Njoku on one side and Austin Hooper on the other.
He does run double tights.
Yeah.
He does run double tights. So if you got a split back, whether it be offset, end set, whatever, and you got double tights or even double stack tights, you know what I mean?
Not to change it, but what I'm excited about this year is we're going to see a fullback for the first time in 5, 6, 7 years, probably.
Just signed one, I'm telling you.
Have you guys seen? I'll never forget watching San Francisco last year. That fullback out of San Francisco.
Oh, the kid from Cleveland,
Juszczyk.
Yes,
or whatever.
Yes, man, that cat knew how to pummel people. But that's what's going to happen this year. That's basically.
So then, where does Hunt fit in there?
Huh?
So then, where does Hunt fit in there? Because look, we ain't Maryland.
We ain't have two good running backs. You can't have one. I think John said it best. Big horses only run for so long. If you want a backfield that's always going to be fresh,
I'll tell you this right now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ryan. If Baker Mayfield wins an MVP, I will get his name and his number tattooed on my back this year.
All right. Hey, this is live recorded.
You stamp that right now. If he wins an MVP this year, I will get Baker Mayfield number 6 tattooed right on my back, prison style tattoo, because there's zero chance that that's happening.
You do kind of look like Aaron Hernandez.
I mean,
All right. So
like the quarterback that he played with an
I'm gonna fill in on this. Sammy, a running back gets punished every play. That they get pummeled. Okay, I mean I read somewhere that the equivalent of getting hit by a linebacker in the NFL, no matter who you are, is like getting hit by a car. Okay,
Yeah.
so Nick Chubb gets hit. All it's going to take is, I don't want to put it out in the universe, but all it takes is one hit and he's down. Would you rather have Dearness Johnson or Dontrell Hilliard as your every down back if Chubb goes down, or would you rather have a talent like Kareem Hunt if Nick Chubb goes down? Yes, run him. Do everything you can to boost his trade value, but do it in the offseason, man. If we want to win now and Chubb, one of the biggest pieces of our offense, goes down week 14, Hunt's still healthy and he's a competent running back. I like our chances if Chubb goes down week 14 and we're in the playoff hunt. I like our chances of Hunt still being on the team and helping us get there with a rushing attack. Because don't forget, Marlon brought it up. He can catch the ball. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's another threat. So I'd rather have Kareem Hunt still on our team for this year, should something happen, rather than Dearness Johnson, Dontrell Hilliard, or, someone that we draft in the next week, in like the 5th round.
We have the worst linebacking core in the division, though.
Oh, sure, but I mean that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Kareem Hunt,
right? That's what. So you've got $100, and a linebacker costs $100.
Mm-hmm.
So you trade one for the other because we don't need them both, and that's my problem. Our offense is stacked. Our defense is barren right now at the linebacker.
I think Ryan made the best point. He said we hold on to him, we ride him out, we pat the stats. You run a split back, or you get him in there enough to be able to create his value, right? You reestablish his value to where he was when he was in KC before his hiccup, right? And then so you reestablish that, and then you make him, hey, he's worth the 2nd round pick or the money of a 2nd round pick or late 1st round, whatever, however you want to describe it, right? But then you still have Chubb, and he's getting less touches. But at the same time,
right,
you're still like we already know Chubb's dope. We don't have to magnify or personify that. They should give him the franchise tag all today, right? But then to Sammy's point, you run Kareem Hunt into the ground as long as you can, and then you sell him, and then you'll be able to provide yourself both the linebacker that you needed and the second back running back. You know what I mean? The guy that's 2 steps slower. Can't not quite as strong, but he fits the bill. He makes it happen. He's a distraction in the same offset. You have a linebacker that can now shut down the gaps between the centers and the guards. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We all know that the game's won on the defensive side of the ball. Let's make that happen.
So, getting towards the end of the show here, we got 4 minutes left. One more topic I wanted to touch on, and I think it would be a good ending topic. But Cleveland Browns this year over and under 8-8 for the Browns. Sammy, you hit it first. Do you think they're 8-8, or do you think they'll go above 8-8 or below 8-8?
Well, get your boo birds ready because we're going under 8-8 as far as I'm concerned until Baker Mayfield shows me that he's actually the quarterback we need. So prepare yourself for another 7-9 year. That's my call.
Sammy at 7-9. Thom? I'm
going to go 8-8 exactly. I think there's a lot of winnable games this year. I think that there's a game that we're going to lose that we have no business losing, and I think we're going to win a game that we have no business winning. I think it's going to come down to Baker's play, and I think it's going to come down to Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt being thrown out there in the slot, Kareem Hunt in the backfield running some screens to confuse defenses. I think Stefanski proved in Minnesota that he knows how to manage a team, or an offense. And I think Joe Woods proved in the Super Bowl he knows how to rotate players, and he knows how to get the best of what he can out of the players that he has. Now, yes, both coaches lost in their in the playoffs this year. But I mean, when you're going up against Patty Mahomes, it's going to be really hard to win.
I haven't looked at the Browns schedule this year. We do need to look at that.
That's what it is, and I'm cool with 8-8. I'm fine with 8-8. A market improvement. As long as we can see Baker, cut down on those interceptions, I think it's a win for us.
So
if we go 8-8, we need to cut him.
All right, let me take this a quick different route. All right. I'm looking at the 2020 schedule. Let me make sure I got this right.
I'm gonna throw it in there real quick while he's looking at it. 6-10. Our front office is horrible. It's been horrible. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to win, even if you have the best product in the field. So even if we are halfway decent or beyond halfway decent, we're still going to finish below average because we can't finish because we don't have anybody in the front office that has half a sense that we talked about earlier with the Steelers to be able to get anything done. Period.
Bingo.
It's a mistake on the lake, dude. They need to take a bunch of dozers and just push that thing right into Erie. Make another break wall. It's a disaster. Let Akron start a team. I've had it. Give those people way too much money.
All right. So real quick, I have the 16 game, not the schedule, but who they're playing in front of me here. Let's just go around the horn here real quick, and you say whether it's a W or an L. So Cleveland versus the Indianapolis Colts. Sammy, go ahead.
It's a win.
Tom.
Win.
John.
Loss.
That's a W. Jacoby Brissett just ain't going to do it for me. Okay, Cleveland against Philly.
Loss.
A win because Carson Wentz will somehow find a way to get injured.
Yeah, keep praying.
All right, then we got Oakland.
Oh, win.
W on my end.
It's a win.
Win on my end.
Skins.
Win.
Definite win on my end.
Ooh, Sammy's got it as a loss.
What?
Texans.
Damn it.
Loss.
Texans loss. Oh, loss.
The Bungles.
Win.
They're worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Win. The Ravens.
Loss.
So are you guys saying the Ravens are gonna lose against the Ravens twice next year?
We're gonna win one. We're gonna lose one. We're gonna win it in Cleveland. We're gonna lose it in Baltimore.
All right.
We're gonna split the series opposite of what Tom said. I think we're gonna win it at their stadium and lose it at home because that's what we do.
All right.
We're gonna lose twice.
We're up to the Squealers.
We're gonna sweep them.
Split.
Here we go. This should be interesting, but the Cowboys.
Loss.
Without question.
We're gonna get mollywopped.
Yep.
Hey, let's record these and let's put some cash on this. I'm liking this.
The Giants.
I don't have my stimulus check yet, John. I can't put any money down.
Giants. We're at the end of the show. Giants, go.
Loss.
Win.
Punch them in the mouth so hard they forget their name.
All right.
Barkley?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Win.
Loss if Cam Newton's there, or win if Gardner Minshew's there.
Don't make stipulations.
Jets.
Win.
Dub.
Loss this year.
Really?
Yeah, a loss this year. Loss this year. We're due.
Contract case on that, Sammy. Keep going.
Titans.
Loss. Oh God.
Win. That's our 7th win. We make up for last year.
All right. Tom.
It's a loss for me.
Get off the dope.
All right.
It's a loss.
And then the last three, again, Cincy, Baltimore, and the Steelers, which we obviously play them twice. But,
split.
Yeah, so. All right. I think we're at 10:01. Let's see if there's any questions we can answer real quick before we get out of here.
Why can't we keep going? I want to argue with Sammy just for like 5 more
We
minutes.
can argue offline, John. It's fine. We do a 2-hour show. Anthony runs majority 2 tight end sets per Stillman.
But it keeps the people going.
So I want to say thank you to everyone that's been here. I mean, we're ending the show. So just so everyone knows, our first show, we ended with 6 people watching us. Second show was like 8 people. Third and fourth show was 8 people. Tonight, we're ending the show with 18 viewers. We peaked around 33 viewers, and that's amazing. Episode 5. Big round of applause across the board. Thank you.
Appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Usually got to pay double for that, Cotton.
Good job, boys.
Yeah. Congratulations to Anthony Aquendo. He'll be getting his coffee mug soon enough. We may just personally deliver it to him over at the mall if he's there. But yeah, I can't thank the viewers enough for everything that they do, coming in, showing up, being part of the show. It's a blast. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to follow us.
And invite all your friends, even if you don't think they'll like it.
Yeah, it don't matter. Let them come in. Hopefully, I don't know if everyone's watching, but I know Elijah Cooper requested to come on the show. So hopefully this week we can get a hold of him.
Mark Camp Police will be on soon.
Mark, yep. And then
We have
Nick Billman said he wanted to get on.
We have a potential guest for next week who his name's Corey Schultz. He's a bodybuilder and the gym has been shut down. We wanted to talk to him about how COVID's affecting his regimen, so he might be on next week.
Right. Yeah.
Steroids, bro.
I can only thank everybody being part of the show. It's great to have everyone here. I truly myself, I can't believe the following we're getting. Last time I checked, I think it was 223 likes and followers, if I recall. So like the show, follow the show.
How you doing, Bill?
Let's bang out some numbers. Our next goal is 500 likes. It's going to take a little bit to get there, but I know
I'll tell you guys what,
we'll be able to do it.
I'll tell you guys what, Ryan, if we get 500 likes by next Saturday, I will get 440 and goal tattooed right here.
Hey,
there it is.
Hey, listen,
500 likes next Saturday.
I don't know if anybody has seen The Office, but let's Nard Dog this guy.
Nard Dog me, baby. Nard Dog on my
a Facebook ad page that we're going to get those likes. I will promote it. I'll spend $100 to see that happen.
Yep.
You're getting what tatted right here?
440 and goal.
440 and goal, baby, right above my chest tattoo.
You made a bad mistake, my friend.
So repeat that by next Saturday.
We need 500.
Next Saturday, if there are 500 likes on this page, I will get a prison style 440 and goal tattoo right here.
Amy's getting a tattoo this year because Baker's going to be the MVP. I'm getting one I don't know about this Saturday, but he'll be scheduled to get a tattoo of 440 and goal prison style.
All I need is an old cassette tape of LaBouche and a pen, and I can do it myself. It'll be fine.
Hey, listen, I don't care who you call. You're getting stabbed in the neck this weekend. I'm going to get 500 likes.
I can't wait.
Oh, here we go.
I'm excited.
So, thank you, everybody, for joining our show.
Thank you, everybody.
It's been great. The little Manny, you know what I'm saying? But please, any questions for our next show? We do typically broadcast every 2 days. So we might be on Monday. We don't know yet for sure, but just like we did last time, we're going to put a post out there to let you guys know we're going to be live.
Ryan Cole's going to reach out to Elijah Cooper to see when he can come in.
Yeah, we got quite a few different people. We're going to line everybody up. I can't wait to get them on here, talk about Ashtabula. Remember, what we do here, our goal is to promote Ashtabula. It's become better. Let everyone know that we're part of Ashtabula. I can't wait for the school systems to open back up so we can start talking about football, baseball, basketball in, whether it's Edgewood, Lakeside, St. John, PV, I'm Connie. I think I'm missing a couple, but that's what we're here for. We're going to be promoting those schools, and our goal is to broadcast live at one time. And I'm going to let John McCoy say bye. He was a special guest of the show tonight. So anything you got to say, recognize your business one more time so everyone that's on can hear it.
Will do. Thank you guys again for having me come on the show. I will definitely make sure that Tom Roth gets that tattoo next weekend. I will spend any amount of money to get 500 likes. It will not cost me more than $100. I have proof of that through Amazon and Facebook coachings. Nevertheless, if you guys want to check me out and see what I got going on in Ashtabula and basically down the shoreline in Northeast Ohio, I'm on Facebook at the Iron Foundation. We are looking for mentors, trainers, a few administrative positions. I know times are a little bit crazy right now, but it's going to basically pan out. But I can't thank these guys enough. I look forward to the continued success, and I hope this thing really puts a dent in Ashtabula, man. Let's make some noise, dude.
Thank you, John. Appreciate all that. This is Ryan Cole signing off for the night. And before I let the rest of the other two do it, the ending music and the ending picture you're going to see is from Thom's fiance, Megan. I love the image she put up. So once everyone signs out, I will then put that up, play a little bit of music. So go ahead, Sam and Thom.
Sam Torres signing out of here. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys on Monday or Sunday the next time we get out here. I can't wait.
Hey, Tom Roth signing out. Get those 500 likes and I'll get that tattoo. I kind of want a new one, so let's make it happen. I'm still up.